Google just launched 3 AI models today. 3. At once. Not teased. Not coming soon. Live, right now, as you're watching this. And then, buried in the announcement, almost as an afterthought, they said Gemini 4 has started training. Here is everything. Fast. The first model is Gemini 3.6 Flash. Google calls it their workhorse model. Better coding. Better knowledge work. Better performance for AI agents. Here's the part that doesn't usually happen. It's better than 3.5 Flash. And cheaper. Both, at the same time. It uses 17% fewer output tokens to do the same job. On some coding benchmarks, up to 65% fewer. On Deep SWE, the score went from 37% to 49%. On SWE-Bench, 49.7, up to 63.9. On OS World, Real Computer Use Tasks, 78.4%, up to 83. On GDeepVal, a benchmark for real knowledge work, not just coding, the score climbed from 1349 to 1421. Every one of those numbers moves the same direction. Up. While using fewer tokens, fewer reasoning steps, and fewer tool calls to get there. Google also says it comes with enhanced frontier safety work, more resistant to jailbreaks, harder to misuse for chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear harm, or cyber offense, while still rarely refusing legitimate, beneficial requests. Price, $1.50 per million input tokens. $7.50 per million output. That's cheaper than GPT 5.6 Tera, cheaper than Claude Sonnet 5, and it scores higher. Computer use is now built directly into the model. Not a plugin. Not extra setup. Native. Figma is using it. Harvey, the legal AI company. Hebbia, for document analysis. JetBrains, for developer tools. Real companies, on day one, not a research demo. And it's not locked to one product. It's live today in Google AI Studio, Android Studio, the Gemini API, Google's new anti-gravity platform, the Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, the Gemini Enterprise app, and the regular consumer Gemini app. 6 places, on the same day, at launch. That's not how most companies ship a frontier model update. 3 benchmarks. All moving the same direction. The second model is Gemini 3.5 Flash-Lite. This is supposed to be the simple, cheap, high-volume option. 30 cents per million input tokens. $2.50 per million output. 350 output tokens per second. On Terminal Bench, testing real command line tasks, it jumped from 31% to 54%. On Long Context Understanding, a test called GDM-MRCR, 60%, up to 72.2%. On GDeepVal, Knowledge Work, 642, up to 1140. A 77% improvement, in one generation. Developers can also dial its thinking level up or down, minimal, for the lowest cost and fastest answer, low, for routine work, or higher, for tasks that need several steps to actually finish. Here's what shouldn't be possible. On SWE-Bench Pro, Flash-Lite scored 54.2%. The previous full-size model, just called 3 Flash, not the Lite version, scored 49.6%. The cheap model beat the full model. Same story on OS World, Flash-Lite hit 74%. The old full Flash managed 65.1%. At roughly 1/5 the price. Against Tera, at $2.50, Flash-Lite is over 8 times cheaper. Against Sonnet 5, at $2, it's nearly 7 times cheaper. That makes it the cheapest capable model in the market, from any major US lab, not the cheapest bad model. The cheapest one that also wins benchmarks against models a full tier above it. Line 4 models up by input price, and Flash-Lite isn't just at the bottom. It's not close to the next one up. It's already rolling out inside Google Search. Some of the answers you see there today are already running on this model. Think about the scale of that for a second. Not a chatbot a few million people use. Search, which billions of people touch every single day. The third model is Gemini 3.5 Flash. Cyber. It finds security vulnerabilities in code. Then it fixes them. Multiple Flash cyber agents work together, coordinated through a system called CodeMender, scanning code and patching flaws at close to the speed new ones appear. On a benchmark called CyberGem, built specifically to test this kind of work, Google says it reaches competitive, frontier-level performance. And on a cost basis, it's built to be far cheaper per token than pointing one of the giant general-purpose models at the same job. There's a catch. You cannot get it. It's restricted to governments and trusted partners only, through a limited access pilot program. Google's reasoning is direct: AI can now find security flaws faster than most humans can patch them. Their answer is to hand the fixing tool to the defenders first, before it can end up in the hands of people looking to attack, not protect. It's a genuinely hard trade-off. A tool this good at finding flaws is also a tool that's good at finding flaws to exploit. Restricting it isn't Google being coy. It's them admitting, out loud, that some of what they build now is too dual-use to hand out freely. Notice what that quietly confirms, too. If a company needs a specialized model just to keep up with AI-generated security threats, the threats themselves are already running on AI. Flash-Cyber isn't just a product launch. It's a defensive response to something already underway. Here's the part most coverage buried. At the very end of the announcement, almost as a footnote, Google wrote this: "We have started our most ambitious pre-training run yet, for Gemini 4, and are excited by the progress." That's it. No timeline. No benchmarks. Just, it has started. Here's the part worth sitting with. Gemini 3.5 Pro, the model Google promised months ago, is still, in their own words, testing with partners. Not broadly available yet. And they've already started pre-training the generation after it. Either Google is simply moving faster than any lab ever has. Or 3.5 Pro turned out to be harder to finish than they expected, and they're already looking past it. Today's 3 launches point to the first. The Pro delay points to the second. Both of those can be true at once. Here's the timeline, laid out plainly. May, Gemini 3.5 Pro is promised. July, it's still only testing with partners, not you. Also July, the same week, pre-training on Gemini 4 has already begun. Google didn't wait for 3.5 Pro to ship before starting on what's next. Whatever you think that means, it's worth noticing on its own. If you build things with AI, switch to 3.6 Flash today. Cheaper. Better. Computer use, built in. There's very little reason to stay on 3.5 Flash starting right now. If you need high volume, low cost, search, document processing, agents running constantly in the background, Flash-Lite, at 30 cents. It already beats the model it's supposed to be the light version of. If you care about security, Flash-Cyber isn't for you yet, unless you're a government or a named partner in that pilot. Watch how it performs before deciding what it means for the rest of the industry. And for Gemini 4, set a reminder, not an alarm. Google just said, on the record, that they're excited by the progress of their most ambitious training run yet. That is not a nothing sentence. Subscribe for daily AI coverage. Comment below, are you switching to 3.6 Flash today, or sticking with what you already use? And what does starting Gemini 4 this early tell you about every other AI lab right now? Tell me below.